Our story kicks off with our MC completely bored out of his mind, watching a judo championship on his phone. While the crowd goes wild for the match on the mat, he just watches, totally unimpressed. To our boy, dragging out a fight just to collapse from exhaustion is just plain pathetic. The tension builds as the camera zooms in on one athlete's firm grip on his opponent's gi. But in his eyes, nothing beats the raw impact of a well-thrown punch. Watching the judoka get tossed, our guy concludes that simpler is always better. Not giving the video much thought, he just lets out a dismissive grunt. Out on the street, he figures a single punch can solve any beef, and even wonders if joining the judo club would be any fun. Annoyed by the lack of real impact in these fights, the kid walks on, grumbling to himself. With a scowl, he declares that using your fists is the one true path to victory. Memories of an old promise surface, and he swears that if he has to change schools again, he'll be mincing his enemies, not onions. Suddenly, our MC freezes dead in his tracks right in the middle of the sidewalk. Terrified of getting an earful from his own mom, he laughs nervously, confessing he doesn't want to get chewed out by her. Shouting in the middle of the street, the kid promises that from this day forward, he'll be a model student and stay out of trouble. Resuming his walk calmly, he heads toward his final destination. However, a mischievous thought is already crossing our guy's mind. Out of nowhere, someone lands a powerful kick, with the bully sent flying straight into the trash. The scene makes it crystal clear that the good boy promise barely lasted a minute. A little earlier, in a grimy alley, a group of cowards had poor Subin cornered. Squatting in front of the victim, the leader of the thugs was spewing threats, demanding cash. Feeling nostalgic for his middle school days, the smug blondie was enjoying some good old-fashioned bullying in peace. Worried about leaving marks, the blondie tells his crony not to hit the kid in the face. All of a sudden, our MC appears from nowhere, bumping into the bully's back with a fake smile. Furious about the bump, the thug spins around, practically foaming at the mouth, as the new kid cynically asks if he's having a good day. With a wicked grin on his face, our boy shamelessly asks for a light. Confused by the different school uniform, the blondie instantly realizes the new kid is looking for a fight. Noticing they smoke the same brand, the MC insists on the lighter, and the bully challenges him to come and get it. Full of swagger, the coward grinds his teeth and warns him that the light won't be free. Unleashing a surprise punch with all his might, the thug tries to knock the new kid out right then and there. With his eyes gleaming with pure killer instinct, the bully just tells him to find his own freaking light. With incredible ease, our boy dodges the bully's straight punch. Without wasting a millisecond, he fires back with a brutal hammer blow right to the bully's chin. Taking that hit is so insane that the thug's face contorts as he spits saliva into the air. Like a sack of potatoes, the guy collapses to the ground, completely knocked out. With a ringside seat, poor Subin is paralyzed with shock watching the scene unfold. Breaking out in a cold sweat, the smug blondie can't believe what just happened to his friend. With the utmost audacity, our MC shouts, asking why the guy jumped him like that. In a fake panic, he grabs his own head, whining about how he wanted to be a model student, right over the unconscious body. He quickly uses the excuse that since class hasn't started yet, this beatdown probably won't even go on his record. Shaking in his boots, the blondie realizes he stands no chance and tries to agree with the monster to get out alive. Aiming that psycho stare, our boy focuses all his attention on the survivor. Grabbing the blondie by the collar, the demand is clear and terrifying. He wants that darn lighter. Tapping the chalk against the blackboard, the teacher sets the stage for the day's big news. Introducing the new transfer student, the teacher tries to explain our MC's different uniform. To keep the peace, the teacher asks the class not to start any fights and to welcome the new kid properly. Scanning the room, the teacher finds an empty seat right next to Subin. In a full-blown panic, the little nerd remembers the monstrous beatdown he saw in the alley earlier and freezes up. With complete innocence, our MC points to the back and asks if he can sit there. As he settles into the chair, the new kid makes Subin break into a cold sweat, while the teacher tells the nerd to show him around the school. Noticing someone missing from the front row, the teacher calls out for Jung Ni-eun. Desperate, a girl tries to cover for her friend, saying the dorm room door just got stuck. Without a shred of pity, the teacher warns that bad grades can get students kicked off the judo team in a snap. Tapping his desk mate on the shoulder, our guy gets the sweaty nerd's attention. Nearly having a heart attack, Subin stammers out his name and says he's available for any questions. Even though he's scared to death, the little nerd musters up his courage and quietly thanks him for saving him that morning. Playing it totally cool, our boy acts clueless, asking what alley he's talking about. He then gets real, saying he didn't save anyone and that it was a pure coincidence he was there. To clear his own name, he suggests his classmate just forget all about the morning's violence. A bit more relieved, Subin decides the new kid isn't so bad after all and tries to get friendly, warning him about the school's bullies. Without taking a breath, the nerd warns that the thugs hang out at the end of the hall and rarely show up around here. Always helpful, Subin asks if the new kid has any other questions about the school. With a sheepish little laugh, our MC confirms there is one little thing bugging him. Building up unnecessary suspense, he starts to form the long-awaited question. With a demonic expression, the new kid turns his head and yells, asking if the kid likes bread. Getting it all wrong, Subin thinks he's about to become the classic school bully's personal snack. Runner. Not noticing his classmates' terror, our boy smiles, thinking he's being super nice by offering a snack. Already accepting his tragic fate as a gopher, the little nerd sweats buckets, preparing to become the class delivery boy. Getting straight to the point, our MC finally asks who the heck is this Jew Nam person everyone's talking about. Just hearing the name makes the nerd freeze on the spot, completely shocked. To explain his fear, Subin reveals that the school is famous for its judo club, which is packed with elite athletes. The image then cuts to a perfect throw on the mat as he states that Ju Nam is the undisputed #1. Even though she's only a freshman, the girl has swept every national tournament with absurd ease. Showing no mercy to her opponents, the school's living legend crushes everyone and has never lost a single official match. With his phone out, showing the news, Subin reveals the prodigy's wicked nickname, the Empress of the Upon. Super excited, Subin shows him the video, praising the view count and calling the girl a living judo legend. With his eyes glued to the screen, our MC recognizes the fight from that morning but scoffs, saying that at the end of the day, she's just a girl. In a total panic, the little nerd tells him to shut his mouth, declaring that Ju Nam is the true elite of the elite. Leaning into whisper, the brainiac warns that talking bad about her here is asking for trouble, since the whole school fears the judoka's temper. Laughing, the new kid pinches his classmate's cheeks and scoffs that doing a sport doesn't mean you can win a real street fight. Not taking it seriously, our boy finds the whole beat any weight class thing hilarious and mocks the Empress of the Upon title. With a loud slam of his fist on the desk, the kid decrees that if she's the Empress, then he's One Punch Man. Leaning back in his chair, our guy has no idea the trouble that's about to walk through the door. Confirming the judo kids aren't around, a group of thugs appears at the classroom entrance, threatening everyone. The bullies tell them all to look away, promising that if anyone snitches, they'll take out the whole class. Screaming his head off, the leader of the pack looks for Subin with murder in his eyes. Spotting the desk, the delinquent freezes, instantly recognizing the guy who beat him up earlier. Connecting the dots, the jerk laughs, asking if the nerd got himself a bodyguard and accusing the new kid of a sucker punch. As calm as can be, the MC asks who these guys are and jokes that his deskmate is pretty popular. Foaming with rage, the thug demands the newcomer return his cigarettes and lighter immediately. Playing dumb, the new kid points out he just got here and says he doesn't know anything about a lighter. In a swift move, he shoves poor Subin forward, announcing that the little nerd is all theirs. Waving with a fake smile, our MC tells them to play nice, since class is about to start. Poking the bear even more, he offers a tip that fighting only leaves you with a sore jaw. Losing his patience completely, the thug curses and lunges forward with a full force punch. With a perfect dodge, the boy makes the bully smash his own hand right into the wooden desk. While the attacker howls in pain from the impact, our guy announces that now it's his turn to collect. Giving him no chance to defend, the kid lands a brutal counter attack right into the coward's ribs. Feeling the bone crack, the leader of the thugs spits saliva into the air, almost losing consciousness. Nearby, the other goons and the brainiac himself watch the scene, completely frozen. With a tired sigh, the MC laments breaking his promise not to get into trouble on the very first day. Outraged, he blames them, yelling that if he gets expelled again, the bill's on these idiots who've been a pain in the neck all morning. His mood flipping in the blink of an eye, he asks the nerd if his One Punch Man move wasn't awesome. Furious at the humiliation, the remaining goons yell for the whole gang to jump the new kid. In the hallway, the gossip is already spreading like wildfire, and students rush to see the brawl in classroom 2. Inside the classroom, all-out war breaks out, and our boy is trading punches with the entire gang at once. Dishing out beatings left and right, the new kid proves he's not afraid to fight against multiple opponents. With a crushing straight to the face, he knocks out another bully who dared to get in his way. Outside, two students gossip, shocked by the transfer student's strength, comparing his level to the judo legends. Soon, one of them reveals that the new kid was forcibly transferred because he was expelled from his last school. According to the rumors, the guy messed with the thugs at his old school and wiped them all out, acting like a psycho hungry for a fight. To prove the theory, the MC lands a monstrous right cross, deforming another goon's face. From their ringside seats, the gossips comment that it's nice to see the jerks get what's coming to them, but that the violence has gone way too far. Laughing at the situation, they decide to just stay out of it so they don't face the wrath of the judo club. Suddenly, a girl with an intimidating expression pushes through the onlookers, telling them to clear the hallway. Consumed by chaos, the classroom is a wreck of destroyed desks and knocked out bullies on the floor. Walking through the door, the mysterious girl makes the Brainiac's blood run cold as he concludes that now, everyone's gonna die. Completely focused on the fight, our boy continues to finish off the last thug left standing. Desperate, the little nerd doesn't know whether to try and break up the fight or run before he gets caught in the crossfire. In the hallway, the crowd panics, fearing that Junam will see the scene, get involved, and end up suspended again. Trembling with regret, Subin calls himself a coward for not keeping his mouth shut and preventing this whole mess. Stepping over the fallen bodies, the intimidating girl lets out a sharp call to get the new kid's attention. As he turns around, our guy is still running on adrenaline, asking who the heck these people are. Cold and direct, the girl informs him that's her desk and tells him to get out of the way, right now. Tired of the nonsense, the judoka simply moves forward and grabs the boy before he can even react. Focusing on the grip, the girl's hand clenches the new kid's collar with crushing force. Caught completely by surprise, the kid doesn't even have time to blink. Effortlessly, the girl uses perfect technique to leverage her opponent's weight. Flying through the air like a rag doll, our MC discovers the judoka's true power the hard way. With a violent impact, he shatters desks as he collides back, first with the classroom floor. Amidst the wreckage, the boy is dazed, trying to process what just happened. Breaking a cold sweat, Subin hears the girl complain that her desk is in the middle of the mess. Faced with this destruction, the judoka demands to know which idiot made this mess in her spot. Exuding a killer aura, she glares at the remnants of the gang, asking if they all have a death wish. Cutting the bizarre tension, the image focuses on a phone screen, playing a colorful little game far away from there. In another classroom, the commotion starts up again as a student bursts in, yelling that all heck is breaking loose in class 2. Pausing his game, one of the boys finds it strange, since that's the class with the school's worst thugs, and finds out the new kid is wiping the floor with them. To wake up his sleepy friend, the kid gives him a tap on the shoulder, calling his buddy T-Tay. Waking up in a bad mood, the guy only pays attention when he hears the big fight is happening in class 2. Realizing it's the same class as the judo legend, the sleepyhead leaps to his feet in a tense jump. Running down the hall, the gossiper continues to spread the news that the transfer student is laying the smackdown on the whole gang. Left behind, the kid addicted to his game just watches the rush from a distance, not getting involved. Walking through the crowd, the guy named Taeyang calls his friend an idiot for being so desperate for gossip. In the middle of the chaos, he recognizes some thugs from middle school peeking at the brawl through the windows. Finding the commotion strange, the guy wonders why these punks are starting trouble again out of the blue. Without any warning, a wild punch flies through the air, heading straight for his face. With insane reflexes, Taeyang dodges the blow by millimeters and calmly says he was startled. Out of breath, the attacker realizes her mistake and calls his name, totally confused by her own failure. Recognizing the girl he asks if she's looking for Ju Nam and tells her the judoka probably skipped first period again. To clear up the misunderstanding, the girl reveals her friend isn't in the dorm and takes the chance to tell him about the insane war going on in the classroom. Surprised by the gossip in the hall, a senior questions if there's really a huge brawl happening. Outside, the crowd of students gathers at the windows, eager to watch the circus burn. Launched through the air at an absurd speed, our MC feels the weight of the judoka's throw. With a bizarre crash, the sound of the impact echoes all the way to the school's facade. Jolting awake, the boy opens his eyes, completely disoriented. Not understanding a thing, he looks around and realizes he's on a cot in the nurse's office. Already sitting up, the kid wonders how he ended up here, since a second ago he was punching that thug in the face. Sitting nearby, Subin corrects the guy's name and informs him that the judo club already cleaned up the mess in the classroom. All hunched over, the nerd apologizes, feeling guilty for the chaos, while the new kid demands straight answers. Handing over a pair of glasses patched up with tape, the brainiac explains that in the middle of the chaos, he tried to carry the MC and ended up stepping on the frames. Full of remorse, the Four Eyes offers a sweet roll as an apology and promises to pay for the repairs later. With the snack in his mouth, our guy announces that his vision is perfect. Then, the question hits him, and he asks what's the point of his classmate wearing glasses. Then, with a sheepish smile, Subin confesses it was just to look like a studious kid, but that plan has already gone down the drain. To lighten the mood, the brainiac compliments the new kid's punch but then hits him with the truth, saying anyone would lose badly to Ju Nam. Nearly choking on his food, the boy's eyes go wide, unable to believe the word close. In total shock, he points to himself and asks if the nerd really thinks he lost the fight. Instantly, the memory of the brutal throw comes rushing back, shattering the kid's pride. Trying to calm the beast, Subin assures him that getting crushed by the school legend is the most normal thing in the world. With a murderous rage, the new kid chews his snack, fuming with hatred. With a hard slap on the cot, he refuses to accept the humiliation. No way. Making up a lame excuse, the boy swears up and down that he only went flying like that because his guard was down. Greatly relieved, his classmate is just happy that at least no one ended up with broken bones. With clenched fists, our guy crushes the snack wrapper, balling it all up. Furious with his own weakness, he throws the wrapper on the cot and complains that the food tastes awful. A bit annoyed, Subin realizes he's earned the nickname Atena and wonders if the guy has name amnesia. With fire in his eyes, the new kid points a finger and tells Antenna to pay close attention from now on. Swearing revenge, the kid decrees that he's going to show that crazy judoka what he's really made of. Far away, the feared Junaim appears, breathless and sweaty after a tough outdoor training session. Inside the dojo, the girl listens to her coach complain that she broke the no fighting rule right at the start of the school year. Yelling, the teacher demands responsibility, reminding her of her dream to make the national team. With heavy steps on the floor, the master shows he's not messing around with this lack of discipline. Head bowed in the middle of the mat, the judoka just takes a deep breath, enduring the lecture in silence. Not cutting her any slack, the coach warns that one more slip up and the sports festival goes down the toilet. Keeping an eye on the situation, a senior member of the club breaks into a cold sweat, noting that this is a first. Racking his brain, he comments that the girl's killer aura was always enough to scare off any bully. But, tough luck for her, the transfer student proved to be immune to fear and broke the school system. Shocked by the new kid's persistence, the senior tries to understand what kind of maniac keeps challenging the legend day after day. Back in the classroom, the students are convinced the MC has completely lost his mind for taking on the beast again. With a thunderous punch on the desk, the kid gets everyone's attention in the class. Pointing a finger in the judoka's face, he drops a classic soap opera line, saying she was the first girl to ever hit him in his life. Shocked by the bizarre declaration, the class gossips start cooking up theories on the spot. While the entire room lets out a collective gasp of excitement, Jiyu Nam buries her head in her desk, dead from embarrassment and irritation. Connecting the dots, the girls comment that the Empress has been pretty quiet and avoiding fights lately. Convinced it's love, the gossip spreads like wildfire while the new kid yells, calling the poor girl Ain't Eater, for another round. Losing it, the judoka screams in front of everyone that she's lost sleep because of this idiot. Full of swagger, our boy ignores her outburst and announces he's still got plenty of energy left. To make matters worse, he yells that he has a lot to show her before he reveals everything, leaving the girl red with fury. With no patience for arguments, the Empress slams her forehead on the desk, wishing she could disappear. An awkward silence falls over the room as everyone watches the drama without blinking. Giving no quarter, the kid pounds on her desk again, demanding his long-awaited rematch. Suddenly, he's startled when the judoka's squad of friends steps in front, defending their territory. Acting as protectors, the girls kick the new kid out, telling him to go finish his punishment, cleaning first. Later in the courtyard, Subin sighs, thinking it must be true love, as the MC takes another wicked throw. On his back on the concrete, the kid feels the crushing impact of yet another perfect takedown. Lying on the ground, the stubborn boy provokes her, asking if anyone is watching his public humiliation. Full of rage, the girl points a finger and asks if he wants to die for intentionally saying all this weird romantic stuff. Promising to break him in half, she swears she'll commit a crime if she hears one more wisecrack like that. Hiding behind a pillar, the little nerd confesses he followed them out of pure concern, but thinks the mood is actually pretty chill. However, the piece ends quickly when the judo seniors show up out of nowhere, catching the pair on the ground. Amused by the scene, the judo captain jokes that the prodigy seems to be having a lot of fun with her punching bag. Without looking up from his book, his teammate scolds the captain, warning him the girl could be suspended if they don't break it up. On the defensive, the big guy complains he can't do anything if the new kid keeps throwing himself at her like a kamikaze. Sprawled on the asphalt, our boy cracks a crazy smile and confesses he's loving the challenge. His face turning serious a moment later, he reflects indignantly, trying to understand why his punches have absolutely no effect on her. During their classroom punishment, Subin replies that it's obvious you'd lose when you know nothing about judo against an elite athlete. Upside down in the back of the class, the two get an earful from the teacher for continuing to gossip during their punishment. Whispering during the punishment, the MC begs for a trick, and the nerd reveals the secret is not letting her control your center of gravity. Lost in the explanation, the kid asks what the heck this center thing even means. Dripping with sweat, the Four Eyes tries to draw it out, saying that to avoid getting tossed, he needs to be flexible and react to his opponent's movements. Annoyed with the theory, the Street Fighter bowls it all down, asking if it isn't enough to just resist the pull and land a solid punch to the face. Desperate with his friend's stubbornness, Subin tries a new approach, telling him to imagine a giant wave coming at him. Focusing on the image of water, the MC complains from his upside-down position, thinking Antenna has finally lost his mind with this metaphor. With his arms about to give out, the boy tries to understand where the nerd is going with this beach talk. To wrap up the physics lesson, Subin decrees that if he tries to face it head on like a rock, the weight of the judo wave will wipe him off the map for good. Directly in the boy's visual imagination, the tactic of surfing the wave now makes total sense. The little nerd explains that on the mat, logic flips, and resisting the enemy's force is the key. With his eyes narrowed, the kid memorizes the tip, read the flow of the attack, and reversed the energy in his favor. As night falls, the urban landscape shows it's been a long day for the new kid. Lying in bed, our guy stares at his phone screen, seriously thinking about what he learned. The next day, the sun is blazing in the school courtyard, ready for more trouble. Wasting no time, the boy charges at the judo legend and demands another round, calling her Hammurabi. With a tired sigh, the girl turns her head, incredulous at the psycho's persistence. Like a runaway train, he tries to land the first blow of the day. After easily blocking the attack, the judoka curses the new kid, asking if he has a death wish. Grabbing the punk's collar, she mocks his ability to learn as she preps for the throw. But this time, the kid stops her hand in mid-air, remembering the sacred advice to use the flow to his advantage. Throwing his entire body weight backward, he tries to break his opponent's center of gravity by force. Far off, Subin watches the scene with the judo captain and confesses he doesn't understand any of this flow talk. With her jaw on the floor, a random student watches the brawl, shocked by the transfer student's audacity. Completely surprised by the resistance, the Empress freezes for a second while the boy focuses on holding his ground. Quick on the uptake, she realizes he changed his stance right in the middle of his trash talk. With a nervous laugh, the brainiac nudges his giant friend, asking if he saw the monster's evolution. In a quick dive for the judoka's waist, our hero scoffs that his only weakness is his lack of focus. Yelling in the middle of the courtyard, he accuses his opponent of letting her guard down and goes for the counter attack. Shocked by the turnaround, the two spectators' eyes go wide as the kid screams for revenge. Desperate to flip the beast onto her back, he roars, promising to return the favor in kind. At the peak of his strength, the street fighter lifts the prodigy off the ground, showing his mental training paid off somehow. Shaking in their boots, Subin and the big guy can't blink as they witness the impossible scene. Not letting up his grip, he focuses everything on the throw, dreaming of victory. However, reality hits hard when he notices her body is too heavy to be toppled so easily. In an insane reflex, the judoka regains control and breaks the boy's leverage in the blink of an eye. Planting her foot firmly on the ground, she shuts down any chance of being taken down. Brutally turning the tables, the legend spins the new kid's body and launches him into the air once more. With a colossal thud, the stubborn kid plummets face first into the middle of the flower bed, destroying everything around it. Lying in the dirt, the boy grits his teeth, lamenting that he almost turned the tables. Standing over him, the girl stares at the defeated boy, catching her breath after the scare. Without reacting, the seniors just watch the tragic end of another failed attempt. To make matters worse, the school's grouchy supervisor appears in the courtyard, not looking happy. Noticing the nightmare's arrival, the athlete lets out a frustrated murmur. Getting straight to the scolding, the woman tears into the judo club, calling it a nest of delinquents. Digging into her memory, the old woman grumbles that those athletes only solve things with their fists and have no manners. Giving no slack, the supervisor recalls the girl's recent fight and declares that a suspension is coming. Hitting where it hurts, the hag threatens to pull the judoka from the national festival if she keeps causing trouble. Swallowing her pride, the student bows her head and apologizes without hesitation. Soon, the woman resumes her endless lecture, saying that dignity is worth far more than gold medals. Tired of seeing his sparring partner take the heat in silence, the new kid gets up, taking the blame off her and promising to clean up the garden mess. Furious at the interruption, the old woman screams at the boy to shut his mouth and show some respect. Back to her one-woman show, the supervisor decrees that a student's dignity comes from their upbringing and is reflected in their posture. In a mocking tone, the MC throws a jab, saying he grew up in a broken environment, and that's why he's a bit rude. Caught off guard by the sharp comeback, his punishment partner looks over, completely confused. Not understanding the broken fence metaphor, the supervisor listens as the boy blames his own teachers for his lack of manners. With her eyes blazing with rage, the judoka mentally skewers the transfer student, as he admits he's a lost cause. Completely losing it now, the old woman shouts, indignant at the kid's audacity. Right in the middle of the chaos, the sliding door flies open with force, interrupting the teacher's fit of rage. With a grin from ear to ear, the judo captain appears, apologizing for the intrusion in the courtyard. With a leader's posture, the big guy asks if the old hag has a minute to chat. Taking advantage of the pause, the MC whispers to his rival, questioning if all the teachers here act like they've set the school on fire. Shrugging, the punk stretches his arms without a single drop of concern about the suspension. Full of charm, the captain calms the beast, thanking the teacher for her time and saying he'll collect his students. Satisfied with the big guy's respect, the woman ends her lecture and sends her regards to his father. Back in the hallway, the club leader decrees a full week of community service as punishment for the two brawlers. Head down, the sports legend sighs deeply, accepting the broom and squeegee in her future. Without softening, the captain informs her she's banned from training until she serves her sentence for starting this whole mess. Facing the new kid, the leader asks dryly if he has any complaints to add. In the calmest way possible, the transfer student says thanks and calls the giant bro. A bit thrown by the sudden familiarity, the captain just nods and says he's heading out. With a firm hand on the kid's shoulder, the senior warns him that the judoka is addicted to training, and being away from the mat will make her unbearable. With a scowl, the MC questions what that has to do with him and asks for permission to bounce. With a friendly pat on the new kid's back, the giant gives a mysterious smile. With the corner of his mouth turned up, he focuses on the kid and pops the golden question. Straight to the point, the senior invites the street fighter to test his skills at the judo club. Caught completely off guard, the boy freezes in place, letting out a very confused question. As the afternoon ends, the scene cuts to the two punished students pulling weeds from the flower bed under the setting sun. Thinking back, the captain admits the kid has a lot of grit and more than enough talent for martial arts. Laughing covered in dirt, our guy thinks the whole situation is one big joke. Up close to his bored face, the new kid mentally responds, rejecting the offer without a second thought. During the walk down the empty hallway, he makes it clear he has zero patience for a sport with rules. Aware of the rejection, the big guy just smiles in acceptance but asks, as a favor, for the guy to stop picking fights with the team's star from now on. With a confused look, the MC stares at the drink being offered, not understanding what the girl's deal is. In the middle of his punishment, he pulls weeds, complaining that he doesn't usually look down on a kid's fight. Sweaty from the work, the judoka reflects in silence as the narration reveals she fights hard for something of her own. Focused on her goal, the prodigy's gaze shows pure determination. Furious with a root stuck in the ground, the kid curses and yanks the plant with all his strength. At the end of the day, the sun sets on the school, marking the end of their garden punishment. Back at the school, the duo finally finishes the day's community service. With her back turned, the judo legend walks on in total silence. Right in the new kid's memory, the captain's words echo, challenging him to show up at the club. Confidently, the big guy guarantees in the memory that the mat is the only way to face the girl. In the same memory, the senior states that within the rules, anyone is welcome anytime. With his mind racing, the boy questions if respecting rules is really important in a real fight. Without moving an inch, he stops and stares at his rival's back. With a firm step, the street fighter breaks the afternoon silence. Yelling in the middle of the sidewalk, he calls the girl Cricket and demands one more round, right now. Frozen by the shout, the girl stops in her tracks without looking back. Annoyed by her silence, the stubborn kid demands a fair fight and asks if the principal's scolding made her chicken out. Completely clueless, he demands just a single round to settle things for good. In a sudden movement, the judoka spins around and swings her heavy backpack toward his face. By a hair's breadth, the MC dodges the deadly blow and complains about the near-miss freebie hit. Cold and direct, the girl stares at the kid with hatred and tells him to hit her. Right there. Completely bugged out, the transfer student's eyes go wide, not understanding the change in attitude. Tired of the runaround, she repeats the order, telling him to just punch her already and get lost. His pride wounded, the boy asks if he's become a joke for her to act with such mockery. Firm in her words, the prodigy says she's offering him victory on a silver platter, so he has nothing to complain about. Revolted by the handout, the new kid refuses the offer and declares he doesn't live in a world where things are that easy. Pressured, the athlete confesses she has no time to waste and gives him the option to hit her and leave or just disappear. With a sharp glare, she guarantees that this way, neither of them really loses. Deep in the MC's mind, the narrator's voice returns, reminding him of the girl's hidden effort. Full of frustration, the kid scratches his head, roaring with anger for not getting the brawl he wanted. Her back turned once again. The girl says she gave him his chance, and he threw it away. With long strides toward the gym, she tells the new kid to get out of her sight forever. The scene then focuses on the entrance of the school's imposing sports pavilion. With fire in his eyes, the boy stares at the structure, making a very dangerous decision. Boiling with adrenaline, the kid's gaze makes it clear that backing down is not an option. From the outside, the closed gym holds the best fighters in the entire school. Determined, the new kid marches toward the den of the judo brutes. High above, the building's sign announces that this is official martial arts territory. Utterly terrified, the nerd Tenna murmurs in shock at his friend's stupidity for challenging the legend in her own house. Standing before the glass doors, the sun hits the relentless troublemaker's back. Without a second of hesitation, he grabs the handle, ready for chaos. With a violent yank on the door, the kid bellows Junam's name, announcing that their business isn't over. Full of resolve, he promises he'll crush the girl on her own turf and using the sport's rules. Brimming with attitude, he grabs the shoulder of the first student he sees, demanding a match right then and there. But to his surprise, the guy he grabbed spins around in a rough motion, ready for a fight. Tough luck for the MC. The fighter in the G is that Hothade from the hallway who hated being bumped earlier. With a psycho look in his eye, the platinum-haired judoka decrees that civilians are not allowed in the hall. On the other side, the seniors comment in surprise that the transfer student actually had the guts to show his face. From afar, the coach bellows at the top of his lungs, telling everyone to focus on training and stop gossiping. Sitting on the mat, the big guys find the situation amusing, remembering the captain made the official invitation. With not an ounce of patience, the platinum-haired judoka tightens the boy's gi, asking if the club has become a joke. With his arms crossed, the captain just analyzes the beef and notes that the two share the same weight class. In the middle of the chaos, the teacher tells the hot-headed student to let the kid go, right now. Completely furious, the master points a finger at the exit and kicks the new kid out, screaming. To break the tense mood, the captain steps in, guaranteeing that in the dojo, things are only settled fairly. With a commanding voice, the giant announces that anyone who comes in here to fight has to take the admission test. In a flash, the scene cuts to the MC dressed in a G, letting out a laugh of pure arrogance. While adjusting the belt, the platinum-haired guy complains about the recruit's messy appearance, while the others mock his cockiness. Pointing a finger at everyone, the transfer student immediately asks who's going to be the punching bag before he gets to the Empress. Immediately, the captain puts the platinum-haired guy on the spot and decrees the entrance test will be against him. Getting straight to the rules, the big guy dictates that the new kid only needs to take the senior down once in 5 minutes to pass. Following the sport's sacred etiquette, the two bow at the center of the blue mat. In a very educational tone, the master warns that punching, kicking, and leg grabs are strictly forbidden here. Focused on his opponent's stance, the senior notices the weird posture and asks if the kid is a lefty. With a sadistic smile, the street fighter retorts, wanting to know why the heck the other guy needs that information. With the shout authorizing the match, the legalized beatdown finally kicks off in the gym. Like a missile, the MC charges forward, tearing through the air straight for his opponent's chest. With insane reflexes, the platinum-haired guy slides to the side, easily dodging the brute force. Out of pure desperation, the transfer student tries to knock the guy down using the momentum of his own body. Cold as ice, the senior simply tells the troublemaker to calm down in the middle of the whirlwind. Losing his balance, the new kid ends up kissing the wooden floor and curses loudly in frustration. Quick on the draw, he gets up and grabs his opponent's G, putting all his anger into the grip. Totally calm, the platinum-haired guy analyzes the kid's desperate, unskilled attack. In a surgical move, the experienced judoka executes a perfect leg sweep, breaking the attacker's stance. Like a rag doll, the story's hero cracks his back on the mat, tasting defeat once again. Lying on the floor, the kid hears the senior complain that he's not taking the fight seriously. Wiping the sweat from his face, the platinum-haired guy says that he's fighting for real, and the new kid is the one messing around. At the master's shout to restart, the transfer student charges again with fire in his eyes. In the stands, the other students comment in surprise that it's been a long time since Taeyang last fought for real. Eyeing the platinum-haired guy, one of the dudes remembers his grades are trash and he almost never shows up for practice. His friend agrees, thinking he'd be an easy opponent because of that chronic laziness. In the middle of the mat, the senior is crushing the MC while the gossip reveals he single-handedly swept the youth sports festival. With a look of pure boredom, the platinum-haired prodigy asks if the new kid is going to keep taking a beating. Breathless on the floor, our boy mentally curses, trying to understand what the heck he's doing with his life there. With only 2 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, he tries another desperate attack and gets cleanly blocked. Full of frustration, the kid laments that nothing's gone right since he changed schools. With a scream of pure rage, he charges forward for the kill once more. Outraged by the situation, the street fighter takes another brutal counter without even seeing where it came from. With his feet swept from the floor, he loses touch with reality. High above the gym floor, the stubborn kid swears he hates being ignored more than his own demise. Deciding to ignore the rules, the boy focuses on his target and declares he doesn't need to pass some useless test. From afar, the teacher senses the murderous intent and orders the new kid disqualified for trying to use punches in the match. Completely losing it, the MC tells them all to go to heck while the master threatens immediate expulsion if there are any injuries. In an insane leap, he bellows that he's going to destroy the platinum-haired guy, giving his relaxed opponent a good scare. Startled by the yelling, the senior backs up, asking where all this familiarity is coming from and if the boy has ever trained in boxing. With a vein popping in his forehead, the new kid denies it, screaming that he's never set foot in a gym in his life. As calm as can be, the platinum-haired guy explains this isn't an official fight and tells him to use his instincts instead of copying internet videos. During the fight, the senior gives him tips, pointing out the kid's grip is terrible and gets a loud "shut up" in return. Annoyed with the chatter, the coach demands action, and the platinum Haired Guy announces he's going to put an end to this now. With a long sigh, our hero accepts his fate and switches to street survival mode. Under the watchful eye of the judoka, he concludes that the only valid objective is to put the guy on his back. Without a second thought, the kid raises his fists in a boxing guard and decides to fight his own way. In the stands, the entire crowd's jaws drop at the bizarre stance in the middle of the sacred mat. Noticing the dumb move, the platinum-haired guy realizes the new kid's center of gravity is way too high, and it'll be easy to sweep his legs again. At the starting shout, the senior advances, grumbling that this whole situation is a huge pain. With a clenched fist, the transfer student preps the forbidden blow right for his opponent's face. Super fast, the platinum-haired guy tries to intercept the crazy move before it lands. In a quick exchange in the final fraction of a second, the MC uses the punch as bait and completely changes his movement. With a monstrous explosion of energy, he grabs the senior's G with both hands, ripping the fabric. Shocked by the charge, the platinum-haired guy mentally admits the kid is way faster than he looks. With victory in mind, the street fighter plans to trap the guy's arm and push him back with everything he's got. Giving him no space, he advances like a runaway truck, putting pressure on the big guy. Under attack, the senior grits his teeth, feeling the new kid's raw, unskilled power. Desperate, the MC tries to hook his opponent's leg any way he can to force a takedown. With a ragged scream, the newcomer challenges the platinum-haired guy to try and take him down this time. With a cold, superior smile, the senior simply accepts the invitation on the spot. In a perfect counterattack, the experienced judoka uses the kid's own force against him and executes a clean, insane throw. On the digital panel, the giant clock flashes, showing exactly 5 seconds left in the ordeal. Completely destroyed on the floor, our boy hears the senior warn him that time's almost up. From above, the platinum-haired guy mockingly asks what the heck the new kid plans to do in these last few seconds. Pinned to the mat, the stubborn kid curses his luck as the teacher blows the whistle, ending the round temporarily. Yelling his head off, the coach tears into the new kid, accusing him of turning the test into a bar brawl with that fake out punch. Even the senior gets some heat as the master demands better form, saying the platinum-haired guy's throw was executed in a very dangerous way. Not having it, our guy argues back, insisting he didn't hit anyone and just tried a forceful grab. In pure jest, the students comment that the kid tried to copy a complex move using pure brute force and zero technique. Nearby, the guy with glasses questions the point of the test, thinking the new kid doesn't even really want to join the team. In a playful tone, the big captain tells the team to relax and enjoy the show until the end. Not believing the leader's innocence, the brainiac suggests waiting a bit longer to see if something interesting happens. Right on the mat, the platinum-haired guy asks if the new kid is really going to try something with a measly 5 seconds left. Back on his feet, the boy wipes his sweat and says giving up isn't in the cards, since he doesn't even care about the sports club. Pounding his chest, he declares this is purely for his pride, while the senior thinks it's all a waste of time. Cold and focused, the street fighter decrees he'll use every millisecond of those 5 seconds to go all out. Pointing a finger in his rival's face, he promises to come back every single day until he can smash the senior's face in. With his gaze fixed on the judoka in the distance, and then on the platinum-haired guy, the boy warns that they're both in his sights. With a smirk, the senior accepts the challenge, finding the kid's audacity quite interesting. At the top of his lungs, the kid swears he'll carve his name into the minds of everyone there, inside or outside the school. With a long sigh, the senior finds this endless energy a massive pain to deal with. Far away, the judo legend massages her forehead, knowing her piece is officially over with this persistent psycho around. In the platinum-haired guy's mind, doubt creeps in about why this new kid is going so far for such a useless cause. With his eyes locked on the 5-second clock, the senior makes the fastest decision possible. With a clenched fist, he concludes he needs to choose the least annoying path to end this show quickly. The master's shout echoes through the gym, starting the fight for the last time that day. Like an animal hunting its prey, our MC tears across the mat in a blind, rage-fueled charge. In the stands, the crowd holds its breath, waiting for the violent clash that will end the fight. With a loud whistle, the timer finally hits 0, marking the end of the match. A dead silence fills the room, leaving everyone completely speechless. From a distance, the scene shows the impact never happened, and the distance between the two remains the same. On his knees on the mat, the boy gasps for air, feeling like he gave it his all just to hit empty space. Without breaking a sweat, the platinum-haired guy raises his hand and simply declares he forfeits, right in the middle of the mat. In an overhead view of the gym, the senior hands over the victory, leaving the new kid in total shock on the floor. Lying on the mat, our MC hears the platinum-haired guy congratulate him for passing the test. With a sarcastic smile, the senior thinks that dealing with a thrown victory is always less annoying than dealing with persistent psychos. Blind with rage, the coach screams the forfeiter's name as the scoreboard marks the new kid's official win. The next day, the gossip about the bizarre pass is already spreading like wildfire through the school hallways. Right at his desk, Antenna asks in shock if it's true his friend joined the club and gets a short, sharp answer. With not a shred of patience, our boy screams at the top of his lungs that he didn't join any team. In a whisper, the Four Eyes mentions the rumors of disqualification, making the kid suspicious of the senior's intentions. With a hand on his sore face, the MC grumbles that he just wanted to smash that judoka's face and be done with it. Furious, he throws his jacket in his locker, cursing his opponent for complaining about punches, and then landing a clean cross on his jaw. With an insane desire for revenge, the fighter swears he'll pulverize the senior the next time he runs into him. A heavy sigh cuts through the scene as he holds his own school uniform. With a distant look, the troublemaker quietly reflects on the humiliating throw he suffered. With a tight grip on the fabric, the memory of defeat hammers in the boy's head again. Crystal clear in his memory, the violent impact proves that martial arts technique is terrifyingly real. Trying to understand the throw, he mimics the posture and simulates exactly how he ended up on his back. Full of confidence after the simulation, he scoffs that the sport is no big deal and thinks he can fight back next time. Suddenly, the big captain's words about judo being fun flash in the troublemaker's mind. With a sharp slap to his own cheek, the kid tries to knock these crazy ideas out of his head. Back in the classroom, he denies any interest in it, while the nerd deduces his friend must have suffered some serious brain damage. Out of the corner of his eye, our guy carefully observes the empty desk in the back of the room. Noticing the troublemaking crew is missing, he asks the brainiac where the athletes went. Always well informed, the Four Eyes tells him that today is the official tournament day for the entire club. Hearing the news that the school legend isn't coming to class, the new kid lets out a simple murmur of disappointment. Far away, his phone buzzes in his pocket, draining what little patience the boy had so early in the day. With the least enthusiasm in the world, our hero answers the call with a very dry, "Hello." On the other end of the line, an unknown voice demands the team's registration form. Caught completely by surprise, the kid's eyes go wide as he recognizes whose annoying voice that is. Overly familiar, the judo captain identifies himself and teases the new kid, telling him to stop running and be a man. Screaming, the MC refuses the offer, but the giant threatens to take extreme measures if he keeps stalling. In a cynically threatening tone, the street fighter tells the guy to delete his number and hangs up right in his face. Absolutely terrified, Subin stammers, asking if his buddy just hung up on the leader of the sports gang. While the nerd was drooling over his friend's suicidal courage, heavy, suit-wearing footsteps approach their desk. Full of swagger, the MC tells the brainiac to shut up and claims his spot as the baddest dude on the block. He then tries to change the subject, asking why his classmate worships this club so much. In a dead serious tone, a suit-wearing man in sunglasses confirms our hero's name, stopping the entire class. Not understanding a thing, the boy stares at the wall of muscle in front of him. With a terrifying smile, the man in the suit politely informs him that he'll be borrowing the kid for a few minutes. A short time later, the brutes drag the transfer student into a luxurious black car at the school exit. Trapped in the back seat between two human refrigerators, he screams, demanding to know where he's being taken. Dripping with cold sweat, the poor guy wonders how he got caught up in a kidnapping in broad daylight. Thrown out of the vehicle, the lightning-fast trip ends at a completely unknown destination. After receiving the package, the judo captain thanks the driver while the boy yells, accusing everyone of a heinous crime. With a friendly headlock, the big guy laughs, saying the kidnapping was the extreme measure he'd promised on the phone. Without releasing his hostage, the senior just tells him to shut up and open his eyes for the show. Gesturing toward the crowd, the captain points to the frantic movement of the rival school's athletes arriving for the clash. From high up in the stands, the two hear the competitors trembling with fear upon discovering the Empress will be competing in the 70-kilogram category again. Reading the huge event banner on the building, the MC finally understands he's been dragged into the middle of a national championship. With a huge grin on his face, the senior guarantees the new kid won't regret watching these fights one bit. In the middle of the mat, the school's living legend bows her head, exuding a monstrous aura, proving that the destruction is about to begin.